So in this module, we're going to introduce some of the overall features and concepts of the game. So unlike many CCGs, in Star Wars CCG, the two players are not using the same pool of cards. One player is using the dark side pool of cards, the dark side of the Force, and the other player is using cards from the light side of the Force. And the idea of the game is that the dark side and the light side player are battling for control of the galaxy. They're battling over control of locations. And so what we have on screen here is an aerial view of a game that was played at a major event in 2020. The camera is pointing down at the table. And so what I'm circling here are locations that are on the table. These represent locations in the galaxy. And we have the light side player on the bottom of the screen. These are the light side player's cards. And then on the top of the screen, we have the dark side player's cards. And so, as you can see, at this particular location, the light side player is in control. Light side has quite a few cards at that location. At this other location, the dark side player is in control, as well as at this one. And then at this location, it looks like there's going to be some battling going on. The dark side and light side player are fighting over control of that location. Let me show you a screenshot from an online game. It'll be a little bit easier. There we go. Rather than having cards strewn across the table, they'll be lined up in a more orderly way. So what we have here is a game played using the online platform available called GEMP or GEMP. And so again, we have various locations on the table. And also in this view, the light side player is on the bottom of the screen and dark side player is on the top. And so at this location here, the dark side player is in control. This location is Nal Hutta. And then over here at this location, you can see that the dark side and light side player are both trying to take control of it. In this location, we can zoom in, is Jabba's Palace audience chamber. And we can look at a few of the cards here. Light side has Master Luke here. Luke has his lightsaber with him. Leia is here. Lando is here. On the dark side, you've got Jabba the Hutt, this Jawa named Daro, and Probot. Now, the locations on the table are chosen by the players themselves. So in this particular game, we already looked at Jabba's Palace audience chamber. Here's Jabba's Palace antechamber, Tatooine Great Pit of Carkoon, Tatooine Lars Moisture Farm. A lot of Tatooine locations on the table, in addition to some others. But games can take place on completely different planets and look completely different. So here's a different game, and this is also using GEMP, but it's a different user interface that's available for people who prefer that. And in this game, the locations, if you look here, are from Scarif that are over here, from the movie Rogue One. So you've got Scarif Beach, you have the Data Vault, you have the System Scarif, and then over here you have some Jakku locations from the Force Awakens. And so in the preface we mentioned how the Players Committee is regularly releasing new virtual cards, and this is a good example of that. There are new cards from all of the new Star Wars movies and shows, Some people prefer to play in limited pool formats where it's just the classic stuff. There are actually a fair number of people who do that. But the game remains fresh. New cards are released regularly based on the new content. And so it's a really nice thing. So anyway, if you look at the table position here, there are quite a few things going on. At these two locations, the light side player is in control, uncontested. At this location, dark side player is uncontested. At this one as well. And then over here, looks like there's going to be a battle going on. Now, in addition to the locations being chosen by the players themselves, every other card in each player's 60-card deck is chosen by those players themselves. So there's room for a lot of creativity. And also a lot of interesting things can happen. It's an open universe with Star Wars CCG. And so characters and starships and everything from different films in the Star Wars universe, which never would have crossed paths from a storyline perspective, can be on the table at the same time. So for example, in this game, you see Supreme Leader Snoke from the from episodes 7 through 8 is on the table here, and at the same time, you have General Veers on here, back from The Empire Strikes Back from Hoth. So lots of interesting things can happen. So finally, one concept to introduce here is how randomness works in Star Wars CCG. So unlike in many games where you will roll dice in order to determine the outcome of an action you're trying to take, in equivalent situations in Star Wars CCG, you're going to do something called drawing destiny. So every card has a destiny number. So let me pull up a card here. Here is Padme Nayberry, and in the top right corner you can see this 3 here. That is her destiny number. Let's pull up a different card. Let's pull up, say, Qui-Gon. So Qui-Gon, you can see, has a destiny number of 1. Let's pull up something else. How about R2? R2, destiny number of 6. So every card has its own destiny number between 0 and 7. And when you are trying to do an action that requires, some element of randomness to determine how it resolves, you take the top card of your deck, you flip it over, and you see what the destiny number of that card is. And so while it is random, you as the player have some control over that. First of all, when you're building your deck, we mentioned that you choose every card in your deck. Generally speaking, stronger cards have lower destiny numbers, and less strong cards, weaker cards, have higher destiny numbers. Generally, higher destiny is advantageous to you, and so you have to balance, do I want stronger cards, but which will give me lower destiny numbers in the deck? Or do I want weaker cards, but which will give me higher destiny numbers in the deck? And so you have to find that balance, and people do it in many different ways. It's one of the big spaces for creativity in this game, is how you manage that trade-off between strength of the card and the destiny numbers in your deck. There are also other ways that, with playing skill, you can try to manipulate the cards that you draw for destiny, and so that's an interesting element of the game as well. With playing skill, you can somewhat mitigate the randomness and take more control over it.